by ringing the bell.
Winds in the east, mist coming in. Like something is brewing, about to begin.
This candle blessed us with a miracle.
Take it, Kronk. Feel the power.
Oh, I can feel it.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Pull the lever, Kronk.
There's no mystical energy field controls my destiny. It's all a lot of simple tricks and nonsense.
Well, I happen to be a wizard, a soothsayer, a prognosticator.
Some all-powerful genie. You probably can't even get us out of this cave.
Don't try to frighten us with your sorcerer's ways, Lord Vader.
Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.
Forgot we were supposed to film a Disney version of that.
Yeah.
Disneyland version.
I'm awake now, so
I haven't played that one in a while.
yeah,
I like it.
Done one of these.
You have the
well,
one for
go ahead.
Concilium, which is slightly different, but the same theories, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is our first podcast interview in probably a year.
Yeah. Who is this guy over here anyway?
I don't know.
Yeah.
These guys?
Yeah.
Ducky and Bunny?
All right.
So, I guess we can throw our names up.
Oh, magic.
You've given him
all
his real
about-
name. What did you do that for? You don't call him by his real name.
Well, then maybe we should let everybody know after you introduce me what you guys normally call me. And I do mean by my professional name.
No, yeah, I was just saying, you don't want to know what we call you.
Isn't it Meta Dada or something like that?
You and I are going to have words after this show.
Well, let's put the spotlight on you.
Oh, God.
It won't be the whole
You're
time.
all big.
Yeah,
Yo, big.
As if I wasn't big enough.
Yeah.
Can barely fit in
Well,
this
you're tall,
booth.
right? How tall? You're like 6'2",
I'm a little
right?
tall. I'm 6'1". Yeah.
6'1".
It doesn't look like it on the screen, obviously, but no. Got the height.
I was just gonna say, why don't you introduce yourself and give a slight
Spiel.
little background? 'Cause not
All right.
much.
Sounds
We'll
good.
go over that.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jason Braden. I am from Main Gate Magic. I am the owner, creator, designer, whatever you want to call it. Everything that you see on that channel is my inception. And we are a podcast, just like my lovely friends here at Signs of Amusement, and all about Disney stuff. We do discussions about Disney parks, Disney news, Disney movies, TV series, songs, and of course park updates. And we have the occasional, although lately has been a lot, of celebrity guests every now and then. I've had people like John Morris, who played the voice of Andy from Toy Story, Adasa, who did the voice of Dolores from Encanto, Mary Gibbs, the voice of Boo from Monsters, Inc. We've had Irene Bedard, the voice of the actual Pocahontas, our very first Disney princess, and lots more. So Main Gate Magic, check us out on Facebook and YouTube. If you go to YouTube, that's where all of our videos were, our previous live streaming episodes are, and you can see all the past episodes. So that's me in a nutshell. I got a lot of other hats I wear, but we can go down that rabbit hole as we go further into the show.
You be sure to keep looking at your notes at what our name of our channel is, Signs of Amusement. So.
What did I say?
No, you're good. I was just
okay.
He's just messing with you.
Don't test me, because I instantly thought, oh geez, what did I screw it up already? I screwed it up, didn't I? This is another Idaho, Ohio thing, isn't it?
Yeah. No, you're
just messing with my
I'm
head.
just
So anyway,
messing with you.
For anybody who's not seen us on this show before, because this isn't my first time with you guys, but everybody calls me JB on this show because there's two Jasons. So I'm JB, and then that's J Sir Jason, I guess.
So here's a fun
Sir
fact. And
Jason.
we were talking about this last night. I'm actually JP.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm Jason Patrick. So
I'm going to have to turn up the volume on my headphones so I can hear the difference between the B and the P.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's why I'm just calling Jay, but that's fine.
Yeah.
People
JB's
call
fine.
me Jay. People call me Ray.
Just don't call me late for dinner.
Yeah.
Speaking of, hopefully Zach.
Where the hell is Zach?
Joining us.
What is it, showtime? Okay, sounds like a good time to have dinner.
Yeah.
This is
It's only JB. What? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't.
Nobody cares.
Just
Nobody
remember, the
cares.
next time we play Call of Duty, just shoot him.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I'll do it anyway, probably. I mean, I shoot Steve often enough, so.
Steve likes being shot. Steve is like the.
I've shot you a couple times too. So.
Yeah.
I'm
Not like that guy yesterday that shot Chaz 3 times just because
Yeah.
she accidentally shot him.
Oh.
So I
Ran
went
in my
after
way.
him. I went after him and shot him 4 times in a row.
Yeah, well, we all know that there's those kind of immature little people out
He
there.
stopped. Yeah. After the 4th time, he stopped.
Yeah. Good
So does
call.
everybody have a drink?
Got a couple.
Well,
Yeah, I got my.
I've
my
got a
cup of
leftover coffee.
All right, so doesn't mean I got to take a drink now.
I forgot all about this stuff because we haven't done one of these in a long time.
There is.
Hey,
there he is.
there's the dinner boy.
There's your boy, Zach.
Here I am.
Zach, do you have a drink?
I have some Pepsi.
All right.
That's not a
I'm
drink.
running out of drink.
That's great water.
Dash off and get another one.
So we're going to do a thing that we used to do, but I'm going to play this little thing first.
Greetings, program! This is all his design. He wanted a new piece on the board to change the game. Where's the bar? The only way to win is not to play. Enjoy the drink.
That's awesome.
That was handy. I went and got another drink while you were playing that.
So we used to, when we were having the interviews, we would, you should be alcoholic, but I mean, whatever you guys want. But usually, whenever any of us take a drink, you guys following along at home take a drink. A little game, I guess. So if you're enjoying a different kind of beverage, might be a little fun.
We get our audience.
I was going to say, it might make the chat really interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be a bunch of
a lot of
different
fat-fingered
words.
drunk people just going like.
Speaking of that, if you are following along, feel free to chat any questions or comment.
Please do.
So
I'm
how
an
do we
open book,
start this
people.
thing? I forgot how we start this. It's like,
Well, I mean, usually we're doing a audio version that we record, and
yeah.
we decided to ditch the audio because we're more visual,
Right.
even on the interviews. So,
Well, I can actually kind of help you guys out a little bit to get the discussion rolling because, like, during your opening credits of the show, and even during that scene from Tron Legacy, is that what it's called?
Yep.
Yeah. I found. I remembered some like.
I mean,
huh?
I'm gonna have to kick you out right now.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you didn't know it was Tron Legacy. Seriously.
I've seen it like twice.
Oh,
really?
I know. So
You
sorry.
need to go and see it again.
All right. Come on.
Yet I just watched. What did my wife and I watch last night? We saw another movie like for the 1,000th time, and we were quoting lines left and right. But of course, right now I can't even remember what the freaking movie was because we were having our adult beverages last night. So, anywho, so in your opening scenes, we saw the wizard from Fantasia.
Yes.
Do you all know what? Sorry.
Yesnit.
Yesnit, yes. Do you know what that stands for? Like what?
Yes.
How is yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Tell everybody.
Yeah, I don't know actually.
Really?
Yesnet is Disney
Disney
spelled backwards.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
Disney backwards.
Sorry, I thought you when it thought it was something else.
So that was one of my little fun facts. And then, of course, in the Tron Legacy clip that you played, I love how he actually said the only way to win is to not play.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody else remember what line that was from?
Who?
Yes,
Or what
War
movie
Games.
that's from. Yes,
War Games.
absolutely.
No, War Games.
Yes,
Yeah.
the computer system Joshua
Whopper.
says the only winning move is not to play, and that's when they were doing tic-tac-toe at the
play,
very
yeah.
end. We watched that very recently too.
Oh, yeah,
So I
yeah.
thought that was
That's
a
a
neat
fun
little
movie.
throwback.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
that's a
sure.
Fun
I
throwback
love War
one.
Games.
Yeah, I like it.
I
had
remember
fun with
now.
that, so yeah. But all right, cool. So, does anybody want to get started, or shall I?
Sure.
I do.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
got a lot of questions.
Oh, please!
Yes,
I would love to answer. And I don't know. I don't always have the answers.
Where did the
but,
magic start?
And that's okay. That's okay.
Where did the magic start?
So clearly, your claim to fame, JB, is that you are a voice talent. You are a professional voice talent person, and that's really, really cool. And clearly, because you were throwing some heavy names there in the introduction about your guests that you've had on your program, which, by the way, is really, really cool. I was just wondering, have you conversed with any other, I guess one would say, celebrity voice talent in your work so far as a voice talent?
Absolutely. There's many other people.
He's going to start.
I don't need to drop other
Yeah.
names, but I mean the answer is definitely yes. The ones that I have on my show are hand selected just because of the fact that they are related to Disney in one way or the other. However, they have also done other work as well. You know, just because they're on my show and have done Disney stuff doesn't mean that's the only thing that they've done. Phil Lamar, perfect example. I mean, if anybody looks up his stuff on IMDb, you'll see that he's done a lot of stuff for Marvel. He's done stuff for Star Wars. He's done voices even for DC. He's the one of the main voices on Futurama. He plays Hermes in Futurama, and one of his original roles was playing. I forget the character's name, but he was one of the guys in Pulp Fiction. He's the one that got his brains blown out in the back seat of Vincent's car.
Nice.
So,
I remember you talking about that. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, they've done tons of other things, but I mean, I typically bring them on the show to discuss the stuff that they've done in the Disney universe. We will, of course, every once in a while discuss other things that they've done outside of Disney, but that is the primary focus. And the thing that I've been thinking about very heavily recently is not changing the name of my podcast, but kind of pivoting to more outside of Disney, because I have met a lot of other people who have done many things for live acting and even voice acting outside of the Disney universe, and like have never done any Disney stuff, but I'm still like in connection with them.
Right.
Yeah.
Or I see them at shows and I'm like, hey, I've got this podcast. I'd love to have you on, just do a quick interview for an hour. Most of the time, everybody says, yes, here's my contact information. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. And I could really expand the show a lot further if I could, you know, kind of change it from just Disney stuff to things that are more than Disney.
I mean,
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. I mean, we started
That's what we
doing just
did.
Disney, but that's why we didn't put any kind of Disney in there.
It's funny you mentioned your name. So a main gate doesn't necessarily signify a theme park. A main gate could refer to a studio. So in that case, you're talking about the majors, Paramount, Viacom, and NBC Universal, MCA,
Warner Brothers,
or Discovery Warner.
Absolutely.
And Disney, obviously, and then the minors, right? So like Sony and MGM, Lionsgate, you know, all that. So I mean, that main gate is a pretty open-ended name for any sort of entertainment enterprise.
Yeah.
But the origin will always remain the same. I originally named it for when you step through the main gates of the Disneyland park, you get that feeling. That's that magic. Right, exactly. That's where the magic comes from.
Your logo is like that.
Yes, exactly. And that will stay the same. I don't want to change the logo. I want that to remain exactly the way it is.
I don't think there's anything wrong with expanding. I mean,
no, not at all.
Now, you know?
It's like
expanded.
Because we just did Disney when we were doing ride-throughs. It was just Disneyland or Disney rides, and now we've done Epic Universe, we've done Universal, we've done Knott's.
Right.
And it's been a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Well, and signs of amusement kind of is a blanketed term as well. I mean,
exactly.
Anything that is amusing to you or anybody else in the world, it's
Any
kind of covered.
Enterprise.
And you know how warped our sense of humor is.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
when was your first time to the parks, to Disney? We'll go back to Disney and we'll say what's yeah.
I can tell you my first memory of being at a Disney park, and that was when I was a youngster, probably maybe 4 or 5 years old. I'd have to check with my dad because he probably remembers the date more specifically. But I remember interactions with characters, and this course was like in the mid 70s, and I remember going to, at the time, Tom Sawyer's Island, or it is still Tom Sawyer's Island, but it wasn't Pirate's Lair back then. So
yeah, exactly.
I remember climbing around and getting just really fascinated with all the different caves and little hills and mountains you can climb on, and then I remember getting lost. My parents were gone. I remember freaking out and crying at the top of one of the mountains, or one of the little hills there. It felt like a mountain to me because I was just a
you're
lad.
little, yeah.
Right. And I don't know if it was my dad or my mom, took a picture of me up on that little hill while I was standing and like crying and looking around. You can't tell I'm crying in the picture, but I remember the picture very vividly, and the emotion was there too. So that's funny. I will never forget that. But yeah, I mean, ever since then I was hooked, and I wasn't always a thrill seeker as far as rides were concerned back then. You couldn't pull me onto like things like Space Mountain or Thunder Mountain, even though it really didn't. I don't even think it existed at that time. It eventually did. But any kind of roller coaster, I was terrified of.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I was actually tricked onto going onto a ride at Knott's Berry Farm. It's no longer there. It was the Corkscrew, if you guys are familiar with it.
My brother did the exact same thing to me.
Aero Development, yep.
The Corkscrew's here now.
Where at?
In
Idaho?
Yeah.
Wow, I got it right.
It's over at Silverwood.
It's the same
exact one.
They just moved it, huh? Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh my god! If I'm ever there, I should definitely do that as sort of like a.
Because that was my very first roller coaster.
My
brother
me too.
Tricked me into that.
My first roller coaster was a corkscrew.
Really?
As well.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, at Alton Towers, when we had when there was a corkscrew there, that was my first.
Yeah, my parents were evil. They tricked me into the queue, saying that it was the ride queue for the bumper cars.
Yeah,
and it was right next door to it
at
the time. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, sure, I believe you, but because you couldn't, I couldn't tell like where we were going, and I just was holding their hand and walking in, and then I got halfway through and I started seeing where we were going, and you know how when you're dragging your dog to the vet and you're pulling on the leash, it was kind of me, only I was being pulled by the hand, like, come on, you'll enjoy it, come on.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's exactly what I was like when I did it for the first time. I was with my friends. They were like,
you'd be like that right now.
Pussy. And I was like, I don't want to. And then when I got off, I was like, yes, let's do it again.
Yep.
Well, that was.
Yeah,
I was kind of the opposite.
Stuff.
They're like at the very end, I was fine. It was thrilling. It was great. They're like, that wasn't so bad, was it? I'm like, no. Do you want to go on it again? No. So, but obviously things have changed, and nowadays the spirit is willing, but the body is speaks differently, and I mean. Even rides like Expedition Everest, because it goes backwards, it makes me like a little nauseous. Yeah. So I have to be careful nowadays.
So, but I know now what to put in behind you for your background is to make a blow up of that picture.
Yeah, there's not a lot of easy things to hang back
hang on there.
Yeah, for those who were curious, I had a hat and a scarf in the background. It has nothing to do with Disney. It's one of my personas that I've done on TikTok before. I put the hat and the scarf on, and I have this snooty British accent, and I read lyrics from songs that you would not normally hear a British chap reading lyrics to, like things from Disturbed and Stained and stuff like that.
I mean, we happen to have two people from the UK, so you're gonna have to do something about that now.
Do you?
What?
His accents.
Let's hear a little snippet. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Really gonna put me on the spot?
Don't put him on the spot.
Just do or you could do a Megadeth.
No,
Megadeth, the real me. And
Oh my God.
way of life.
Or System of a Down. Do Chop Suey or
Suey.
something
Let me
like
pull
that.
up the lyrics here. Hold on one second. Let's see. Chop Suey.
This is the first time everyone's. It's the first time anyone's ever brought the lyrics to Chopped Suey and wondering, like, what the hell is Serge actually saying at the beginning of the movie?
Serge can say anything in Chop Suey as long as you get the timing right. It doesn't matter.
All right.
Yeah.
I've got him. So my character's name on TikTok is Percy Pompous. I haven't done anything for him in a while. But as you can imagine, he's a little snooty. So his voice kind of lives up here. And here are the lyrics to Chop Suey, song by System of a Down, 2001.
I used to work for a guy who sounded just...
Wake up, grab a brush and put a little makeup. Hide the scars to fade away the shake-up. As you can imagine, it's hard to do this in one take because I have a hard time keeping a straight face. Why'd you leave the keys upon the table? Here you go. Create another fable. You wanted to. Grab a brush and put on a little... Grab a brush and put a little makeup. You wanted to. Hide the scars to fade away the shake-up. You wanted to. Why'd you leave the keys upon the table? You wanted to. So, there you go. Thank you. Thank you very much.
The facial expressions when you wanted to are awesome.
Well, that is a lot of voice acting. Is even if you're behind the scenes and you're not on camera, you gotta do those emotes because you don't just read it and not do expressions because. You have to do it like you're actually there. Like you actually got a camera pointed at you because it's how you get those things pulled from inside that normally wouldn't appear if you didn't make the face.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's like a lot of times the animators will copy those and put them into the animations. So.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. That is a lot of how the animation is done for any type of movie. Is they copy the actors' expressions all the time.
The motion capture.
Mocap.
Yeah.
Well, that and I mean, originally they would actually film the people doing the voices, and I mean, they might emote certain things from the actors, but I mean, a lot of the original animations, from what I remember, at least in the behind-the-scenes stuff that I recall, was animators literally sitting there behind a mirror and doing this, and
I remember seeing that
expressions.
on Disney Plus, one of the shows that they had.
Yeah,
they were doing that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Zach. Mark Davis was a master of the motion capture of Catherine Beaumont in our favorite 1951 animated classic.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
You're such a shit Lewis. I can't believe you got that in already. How many minutes? 23 minutes in and you're already traumatizing
All right,
him.
I was waiting for it. It's fine. All good.
Oh, and as a matter of fact, Shaz is wearing a shirt of what I'm contemplating doing for my first live TikTok as a voice actor too. What is it, Quint's Boat Tours or something like that? Is that your shirt?
Quint's
shark fishing. Yeah, there's tons of different Quints out there, but yeah, I wanna do a voice acting thing.
Are you gonna do Robert Shaw?
Have you got the Book of Quint?
Oh, what?
No.
The Book of Quint yet?
Yeah, I was going to do Robert Shaw. I was going to do the scenes
God.
from inside the town hall and also from when he's inside the boat. When they talk about dropping the bomb, the Hiroshima bomb. Yeah.
If you do...
If you want a good read, because I know you love Jaws as much as I do, you should get a hold of a copy of the Book of Quint. And it's written by a guy called Ryan Dacko, who's a is he a lifeguard or no? Yeah. Anyway,
he's an ex.
But he's a complete Jaws. He's a complete Jaws nut. And him and his friend done a lot of research into. I mean, they've watched the film I don't know how many millions of times, and he's written a prequel to Jaws based on Quint's life from when the boat blew up from the Indianapolis up until he started sharking on Amity Island, and it's absolutely amazing.
Shall I read the description of the book from Amazon? I pulled it up on my phone.
With Percy's accent, please.
With Percy's accent, or should I try to do it with Quint's accent? All right.
Quint, yeah.
Now Quint is kind of like, he's sort of like got that sort of like Jimmy Carter sort of, Bostonian, thing going on, but it's obviously a lot more down here, and he's kind of he has this sort of like shish in his S's. Yeah. So anyway, from 1945 to 1968. Witness Quint survived the greatest naval tragedy in history with the sinking of the USS Indianapolis and the events that bring him to Amity Island, where he becomes a legend of the North Atlantic. A descent into one-man struggle with survivor's guilt from the war and dealing with the post-traumatic stress inflicted by losing his friends to sharks leads to psychological battles against a cunning politician and an island that wields a great secret. I sound more like a pirate.
I was going to say,
although Quint does kind of sound like a pirate. So.
I was going to say it's very almost Johnny Carson too.
Johnny
Carson, yeah. I got to work on it. I mean, if I did the lines from the movie, it's easier because it's like it's that
you've heard
parrot
it a million
memory.
times,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's that muscle memory. But it says a Jaws universe expansion novel providing details and backstory to enhance the performance in the original movie. For the 50th anniversary in 2025, after you experience the Book of Quint, watch Jaws again for the first time. So it's recommending to go back to watch Jaws after that.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a podcast called The Jaws Obsession, where they
talk about Jaws.
I've been listening to it since it came out in 21. It's all about Jaws. But they go through sort of like Jaws from start to finish, all the lead up to them writing the Book of Quint. His friend who does the research with him has rebuilt the Orca. So
it is he's a great character.
If you like Jaws, yeah.
Lisa and I rewatched the movie after they re-released it on, I think it's Peacock. Is it Peacock or I think it's Peacock.
Peacock.
And it's Jaws 50. And I think that they restored it, and it looks beautiful. It looks so good.
That's cool.
Absolutely.
So all this voice acting, when did you figure out that you can do voices, or like how did that come about?
Many years ago. I've always been playing with my voice, if you will. It's an industry term, I think, at this point. Ever since I was a kid, basically, I would always be doing funny voices and trying to imitate celebrities and cartoon characters and things like that. And it carried into work, and I kind of developed this personality of the guy that's kind of the office clown a little bit as far as that stuff is concerned. And all that time, even my mother, before she passed, my aunt, have always been said, you should be doing this for a living. And I'm like, I can't do this for a living. No, there's no way. I want to, but it's like, I know it takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of struggles, dedication. And you're not always going to make money off of it right away. And I already had a 9-to-5 that paid the bills and, got me through so far 2 marriages. And it's the breadwinner of the family right now, so I have to kind of stick with that. But it took me until about maybe 5 years ago, maybe 5-6 years ago, when I met a friend, and she introduced me to somebody who kind of got me into doing some narration on DVDs for his company, themeparkology.com. Cool. And that kind of led me into meeting other people like C. Andrew Nelson, who's the Darth Vader guy from all the special edition Star Wars movies from episodes 4, 5, and 6. And I went to some conventions with both of them, got introduced to other people, and it just started snowballing from there. And I kind of fell into it in a manner of speaking, but I just finally decided to also take everybody's advice and try to do it for a living. I've got maybe 10 more years of my full-time job that I have right now before I can retire. I could do it sooner if I wanted to collect less on Social Security, but after that, I'm not going to stop working. I'm going to continue pursuing voice acting and do everything that I can to keep doing, because I love it. It's so much
fun. Yeah.
Good man. Good. What was the first impression that you did that you really nailed down?
I can't remember my first impersonation, but I can tell you my go-to is almost always Arnold Schwarzenegger because he's one of my favorites to do.
Get to the chopper now.
It's not, but okay. There's two different versions of Arnold. Okay, there's the serious one, like he's the governor, and he's very serious and he's very mild toned, and but then there's of course the movie actor version, which is get to the chopper. I'm here. Kill me now. Kill me. So it all depends on which one you're talking about, and then there's that version of Arnold. The barking mad one, and who is your daddy, and what does he do?
Yeah.
The accent's not easy though. Austrians, it took me a while to kind of hone it because once people were like, "Oh, that's pretty good," and now everybody's like, "Oh, wow, not bad." So it's improved over the years, but I feel like that's kind of my go-to. But as far as who my original one is, I don't know. And I love going to Kronk, because Patrick Warburton. He's definitely one of my favorite characters to portray. He's always seems like he's got it together, but then what was I talking about? Hey, Yzma, put your hands up.
Yeah.
So
those are pretty good.
I got a few of them in my wheelhouse, but those are two of my favorite.
Nice.
Excellent.
Who's your favorite Disney character to impersonate?
Disney character? That's got to be Kronk. Kronk's my favorite.
Yeah, is your favorite one?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I do an okay Goofy every once in a while. I cannot do Donald Duck. Had Sam Quasman on my show.
That was fun when you had him on the show.
Yeah, we were talking about how to do the Donald Duck voice, and it's all about talking through
like
your
an air
cheek.
pocket in your cheek.
Yeah.
And he can't do it on the other side. He can only do it on one side.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing is I can only do it from one side as well, but it was the complete opposite side of his.
Yeah.
I think he said the right side, and
I think so. Yeah.
No, he can only do it through his left side, and I can only do that sound through the right side.
That's easy. But the way he talks and does it, I can't.
Yeah.
Do that.
And he's always mad or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like the Hulk, Donald, isn't he? He's always angry.
Yeah.
He's exasperated. That's what he is.
And I wanted to get what is his name? Daniel
Day-Lewis.
No. The other left foot. Yeah, no. Another guy, he recently retired as the voice of Donald Duck as well, but he won an Emmy for doing the voice of Donald Duck very recently. And I know he's friends with a lot of the people that I've had on my show, and I've seen him at other shows before. I wanted to get him on too and see if I could, chat with the other Donald Duck, because there's been so many voices of him.
That's another thing I wanted to ask you is, you go a lot to these shows and everything. How did you get involved with doing that? Going to the Comic-Cons and all these shows where you meet all these people?
I was first invited to go to MouseCon in Concord, California by my friend Jerry Cornell, who I mentioned earlier is the owner of themeparkology.com.
Right.
And he's the one that I do a lot of the narration for on his Disney-related DVDs. And it's very simple stuff. It's just, I put on my professional voice, and we're talking about the ride Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, or, Peter Pan's Magical Flight, or, whatever, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's more upbeat, and it's more of my Disney voice. And he invited me because I had narrated several of his DVDs to sit at his table, help him sell and promote, and maybe sign an autograph or two, because I was narrating the stuff that he was putting out for sale.
Right.
And me being the person that I am, I just go to tables and I start talking to people. And I think because I had the lanyard on, because I was a guest and not an attendee, it got a little bit more attention than maybe I would if I was just a fan coming up to somebody. And I love talking to people, and I love just getting to know their stories and finding out how they got to where they are in their journey, and where do they see themselves going even after this point and stuff like that. And it just kind of blossomed from there. I then started going to shows with C. Andrew Nelson. He invites me to go to help promote Adventurous Ideas, a company that he and Jerry created,
that's cool.
to do audio shows. They're full cast audio productions where It's completely scripted, but they're all original stories. If you guys think of like the original broadcasted shows on the radio, like, you know, Dick Tracy and Little Orphan Annie and stuff like that. But instead of it just being like one or two guys behind everything, this is like a full casted production where we have people that I meet at these shows. We ask them like, oh, we've got this production company that we do these audio productions on for these, you know, shows that have to do with like superheroes, horrors, mysteries, sci-fi, drama, stuff like that. Are you interested? And most times they're like, yeah, sign me up. I want to do it. That sounds like fun. So one of the people that we actually got interested recently is a man by the name of Jim Meskimen. I don't know if you guys saw that episode that I had on my show, but he did the voice for Genie for certain of the Aladdin shows on Disney.
Cool.
And he does a fantastic, he's like a voice impersonator. He's like a professional voice impersonator, does presidential figures and, you know, other actors and stuff like that. And
he said he's the Rich Little.
I was going to say like Rich Little.
Yeah, he's definitely reminds me of Rich Little a lot. Yeah. And his mom actually, if you guys remember her name, is Marion Ross, the gal that played Mrs. Cunningham from Happy Days.
So cool, man.
That's
his mom?
That's his mom.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it was neat to kind of get to know him, and I had never known that about him. I'd already met him a couple of times, and he mentioned that, and I'm like, why didn't you tell me that earlier? Like, holy cow. So,
Mrs. C.
It's just amazing. I think the reason I'm just kind of going down this little, you know, path here is because I just everything just kind of like rolls into another opportunity and another story and another piece of magic for the show that is just, I didn't even expect it, you know. And I think that's a lot of the things that I say about those kind of magic moments is that you never really know when they're going to happen, but you got to cherish them for when they come.
Exactly. Exactly. No, that's great. That's a great story.
Yeah.
All started.
Awesome.
So anyway, back to Jim. Yeah, he's doing a story for us. It's called Only One. And it's a short story. It's going to be about maybe 20 minutes long once the audio is completely finished. And it is literally a story. It could be about anything. The actor does not know what the story is until they actually get the script.
Oh, wow.
And they are the ones that are going to be doing all of the voices for that story.
Oh, cool.
So Jim was like the perfect person to pick because he is such a talent when it comes to just doing different types of voices. You know, it could be just a regular voice like when I'm talking, but then all he's got to do is just kind of lower his voice down like this, and it's somebody completely different. You know.
Yeah.
And I heard a clip of it probably about a month ago, and they're so excited about this that it's actually probably going to be done within the next month. And it'll be like the second program that we've actually will have available for sale on adventurousideas.com. So check it out if you can. Adventurousideas.com, and there's already one up there available for sale called Dark Park, Dark Arcade. It's about these kids who go to an amusement park, play the latest virtual reality game, and things become more real than virtual. So,
cool.
Yeah, zombies come to life. Yeah. Pretty cool.
So JB, so these audio programs that you're producing, do they also include Foley effects in the audio program?
Not Foley effect. Well, you know what? Actually, that's a great question. Yes, in certain instances, it will. The effects can be pulled from either a library of sites that actually allow you to, you know, for a small price, you know, or you know, small royalty fee or whatever, you know, like pay a monthly subscription and you can download whatever the hell you want and use it in whatever production you want. Yeah. So it's either going to be stock audio from certain effects or music, or I'm going to give you a perfect example, and this might be a little behind the scenes thing, but Andrew reached out to me once and he's like, I need the sound of a gun falling on like concrete. And he's like, I don't know what to use. Do you have any recommendations? And I'm like, I've got an Allen wrench, not an Allen wrench, but it was a pair of vice grips.
Oh, vice grips.
Vice grips. And I thought that might be a perfect sound. And he's like, oh, you know what? That's not bad. So he tried it and he's like, nah, it sounds too light. I need something heavier.
Yeah.
So he was messing around with a few things, and you know, he has his little recording booth out in his recording area, his office in his garage. And of course, he's got some concrete out there. So he put his microphone down and he started dropping all these different things. And he eventually dropped, I think, a car jack. And that noise he was actually able to use for the clanking of a gun hitting, the concrete or like tarmac or something like that for what he was using. So it might happen where, we do sort of like improvised Foley sounds like that, where it's just kind of like taken from, something that sounds like what it's not really supposed to be, but made it sound like something else to fit that scene. Or it might be the stock footage. It really all depends.
That's
and it's
cool.
just that kind of creative flow that really sets us apart, I think, because it sounds like a movie in your mind, and you get to picture like what it looks like as you're listening.
Exactly.
Or like old timey radio drama.
I used to listen
Yes.
to I think it was Star Trek or something, but it was from darkerprojects.com. And they did all these like sci-fi radio shows and stuff, and it was so much fun to listen to. You're driving somewhere, all these radio shows are great to, on podcasts and stuff to listen to.
Yeah.
It's neat to be a part of that.
And that's the wonderful thing about this. There's really not much of a niche for it out here in the U.S. I know out in Europe there's a production company that does a lot of stuff for like Doctor Who series, and they're kind of big out there, but there's really not a big place out in the U.S. for stuff like that. I mean, there's audiobooks galore, right? And there's single readers that basically go on, whether it's a celebrity or just a rando person doing the voices, as they're reading the book, but there's no sound effects in the background. There are a few other production companies that will actually add certain sound effects, but we've got music, we've got pace to the scenes, we've got monster sounds, and sometimes it's literally as crazy as slowing down the pitch of going like, to get that what you need to make it sound like a creepy monster, or pitching it higher to make it sound more cartoony, because we will have stuff for kids as well. That'll be fun to them to listen to, and you can listen to it anywhere. It's so fun to use your imagination to try to come up with the sounds and stuff. That's what I love. Doing it is neat, and that's the stuff that I'm still learning as a voice actor, because even at times I have to be reminded, my microphone's right up here, but I don't always have to record from this distance. Sometimes I might need to record from a little bit further away to get a different sound. Or sometimes I might need to get down here to kind of get a lower voice, things like that,
We did it all the time when we wanted.
You're very white.
This is for my ASMR fans out there.
When it comes round for me actually recording the voice for the bad guy in the game we're making, I'm gonna be tapping you up for some.
Oh, please do.
Assistance.
You need to sit next to her and just punch her. Keep punching her as she's talking. That'll change your voice.
I had Mary Gibbs. I mentioned her earlier, the voice of Boo from Monsters Inc. She had never done anything voice acting related since she was a wee one and did the recordings for Monsters Inc. as Boo. And she was still a toddler practically then, like 3 or 4 years old, and her dad was the one that was helping chase her around the studio with the microphone and stuff like that. He was actually a storyboard artist for Pixar at the time.
Oh, cool.
And they had her say a few lines and everything, and they're like, she's perfect, so they did the thing, but she had never done any other voice acting since then. However, because we actually met her at a convention once, Jerry, I think, was the original one that may have tapped her on the shoulder and said, hey, we've got this production company that we're doing, or this story that we're creating. Because Heroes of Extinction is one that's actually coming up later this year. That one's going to have 7 parts to it. It's going to be 7 episodes. And it's a full-on story about this like superhero that turns 50, starts losing his powers, and now he has to turn the mantle of responsibility over to somebody else.
Oh, cool.
Mary's that person. So they hired her to be the voice of like the heroine in this, and she had a lot of her lines recorded already, but there was a few pickups that we needed her to do. And because I've got this booth, and she moved up to the Bay Area again recently, Andrew said, can we borrow your booth and have her come over? So I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So she comes over into the booth, and she's having a hard time with one particular line, and it had to do with like a really heavy emotion where she had to, like, somebody had just died, And she's like, no! She had to
Yeah,
give
yeah.
like a really hard, like scream, like an emotional reaction to what had just happened. And she was having a hard time. And I kept hearing it over and over because I was in the other room of my apartment. This is in one of the rooms, and I was in the living room.
Yeah.
And I kept hearing like what was going on, and I'm like, let me jump in. So I walked in the room, and I said, I think I might be able to help. So at the time, I got in the booth here with her, and I said, okay, now, I want you to pretend that you're like really mad at me. Like I just slapped you across the face. I just insulted your mother or whatever. I can't remember exactly what I told her. And, just I want you to build up that anger. Like I am your worst enemy. And then that didn't really kind of work, but I'm like, okay, well, let's just start screaming. So we started having like this screaming match in the booth. And as soon as I got her to the point where it was like, that's the kind of volume that we need. Now just start saying no as you're screaming.
Yeah.
And bam, we hit it. And I was like, we got it. And everything else after that, from what Andrew had told me, because I wasn't in here for the rest of the recording, he's like, yeah, she seemed to kind of loosen up a little bit after that. And I'm like, oh, that's great. We kind of like shook all those nerves off and got her to do what she needed to do.
That's cool. Yeah.
I'm definitely tapping you up when I get my script. I don't even know what I've got to say. I do know that my voice for the one character, my voice is going to be manipulated, so it will sound like me, but not like me by the time he's finished with it. But I've also got to voice my dinosaur.
Are they gonna do like a pitch shift in your voice to make it sound different? Yeah. I've had that happen with mine before too. Yeah.
But I've got to voice my dinosaur, so I need to decide what voice my little dinosaur makes.
Oh, yeah.
And he's also going to do another character for me as me, so I've got to do 3 voices.
Right.
Well, just remember when it comes to stuff like that just because it's a dinosaur, it doesn't need to sound ferocious like a dinosaur.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give a perfect example.
My dinosaur is not ferocious, is it?
Right.
Let's be fair.
So there, that's perfect. Because look at Rex from the Toy Story series.
Exactly. Yeah. Funny.
Wallace Shawn is like the least intimidating person in the world. It's like,
yeah, exactly. They always take the mickey out of me because when I get really angry and I go, "Rawr," I'm about as intimidating as a wet fish.
I love that.
Jason always does the little T-Rex hands when I get stressed.
Yeah.
He's got a big head and little arms.
Yeah.
You guys remember that from the Robinsons or something like that? Meet the Robinsons.
Oh, Meet the Robinsons.
Oh yeah, what a great movie.
One of my arms is shorter than the other from where I dislocated my elbow, which is why I ended up with the
mine
nickname
too.
of being
See,
a T-Rex.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm small and I've got I'm not even gonna go there.
Yeah.
So is there any character that you want to do that you definitely want to
want to do but can't do it yet, or is that what you're
or perfect? Yeah.
No. I mean, there's nobody specific because I'd be honored if somebody actually asked me to do a character voice that's already out there and they think that I can do it well enough to be the next person that does that. I mean, I can't think of anything greater to do because they say impersonation is the best form of flattery or something like that, right? And but I mean, other than that, no, I think anything that is offered to me, I'm going to give the best that I have at it, and I'm kind of like a yes man at this point because I need to build up a portfolio of different characters and kind of figure out what I can do and what I can't do. And I have a pretty good idea of that as it stands now. But the crazy thing is about doing voices is that at some point I'll be doing just a random voice and it'll start sounding like somebody else that, I've never tried to impersonate before. And I'll be like, whoa.
Yeah.
That just sounded like this person. Yeah. And I'm like, I didn't know that I could do that.
Yeah.
But I don't always want to sound. I don't always want to sound like somebody else. A lot of the things that we're going to be doing for Adventurous Ideas is not to sound like something that's already out there. It's to create something original. And as an example, for Heroes of Extinction, I play a character named Chuck the Bartender. And when all the superheroes have settled down for the day and they're doing their stuff outside of their superhero duties, Yeah, I said
to a
duties. They go to a bar, exactly.
Yeah.
So as their alter
Anyway.
egos, they go to a place called the Lowdown, and it's a bar where Chuck is the main bartender. And he's an ex-boxer. He's like from the East Coast, and he's kind of got this like hey Gabe, how you doing, buddy? That kind of stuff. And that's Chuck the bartender.
Yeah.
And the cool thing
North
is
Jersey.
about that, huh?
North Jersey.
Is that what that is? I don't know. I just pulled like northeast out of my brain.
It's a
and
little,
that's what it sounded like.
Not as harsh as New York, and it's not as laid back as Southern Jersey. It's Northern Jersey.
It's
And
a
I didn't
little
want it-
Joe Pesci-ish, right? Like,
Yeah, a little
Kinda,
bit.
yeah.
Little
Yeah, like
Danny
it's
DeVito.
kind of up here, It's like
Right.
not quite
DeVito,
down
right.
here, but it's kind of up here, But it's not quite that annoying, but it's in that range. But I didn't want it to sound like myself, and I also wanted to add that accent. So all I had to do was pitch up just a little bit of my normal voice and then kind of give that accent, and Chuck was born. But the cool thing about Chuck is that, number one, it's original. I created it. That voice, as far as I know, doesn't exist anywhere else. And Chuck is actually also going to be kind of a multiverse character for all the stories and adventurous ideas.
nice.
He's going to have a
nice.
part in almost every single story that we release.
He's going to be like the
That's fun.
Stan Lee cameo.
He's going to be like the Stan Lee, yeah.
Yeah.
When they told me that, I think my brain just like exploded because I'm like, wait a
Yeah.
second, Chuck's going to be in everything? And like, yep. So we've got
That's
another.
Cool.
So yeah, so that means
awesome.
that I could potentially have mold. Actually, for the next one that we're going to do
You could
production
get
on
Chuck
called,
merch. You could have a Chuck Funko Pop.
there will be some Chuck merch, but there will. I think at some point we
That's
did
cool.
talk about actually getting some production value or some merchandising going for certain things, but it won't be Chuck like an action figure. It's actually going to be his skull.
But you need to
Because-
have Zach
cool.
with his shirts, and so you can make those shirts.
Yeah, right. So one of the stories that we have coming up, it's going to be called Voices in the Vault, and it's about these like objects that are kind of in this curio store that are kept in this kind of secret vault that is taken up to the store by ways of like a dumbwaiter. And all these objects in there they have like a special story behind them, but the reason that it's special is because all of these objects are sentient. They can speak, and they talk to each other.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And
Beast.
kind of like that, yeah. And they also have these like special properties. Like, one of the things that they had talked about was a typewriter with 2 mummified fingers that are just constantly, typing on the keyboard.
Monkey's paw.
Yeah, stuff like that. And one of the objects they said was going to be the skull of Chuck the bartender. So
Nice.
that is going to be a new story that will be coming out in the near future. And when I was just doodling on my iPad one day, I don't know if you guys can see this.
Let's see. Oh, we got flip.
There's the skull of Chuck the bartender.
Maybe. Oh man.
No, your phone's off. Yeah, it's you got to turn down your brightness.
No, we
Yeah, I
see
don't know how to do that just off of there.
You can go swipe down from the top.
Oh yeah, that's
Like,
right.
Yeah, and then you can.
Oh yeah, because you've got
Yeah.
a stupid
Stop it,
iPhone.
Sharon.
It's
so
a
you can
brilliant
do
iPhone.
No.
Okay.
There you go.
There
that. Well,
we
I can
go.
turn my brightness down on mine by swiping down
You're
from the top.
also-
Oh
hang on.
look, my app
There you go.
the same
Oh,
thing.
So-
there we go. Yeah.
So yeah, that's
cool.
Chuck's skull, and I don't know if I can really tell you much, but we actually commissioned.
Don't give any
No,
spoilers
we
away.
commissioned somebody that I've actually had on my show before to create a 3D sculpted version of that skull
Oh, cool.
that we can actually
Nice.
use to create molds and things like that. Maybe make like a Funko version of it or something like that in the near future. Yeah,
That's cool.
Awesome.
You can drink from the skull of
Yeah.
that would be so cool.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, could
Did
make
you
it into
ever-
like a stein or something like that.
Yeah.
Do you ever
Yeah.
watch
Yeah, exactly.
The Lost Room or Warehouse 13 in Sci-Fi?
We used to watch Warehouse 13.
Oh,
Yeah, I
Warehouse
loved that
13 is
show.
Such a good show.
We had all those objects
Yeah.
that were doing
Yeah.
other things.
Well, and I don't know if you remember, but there was also a show. I think it was back in the '90s called. It was called Friday the 13th, and it had nothing to do with Jason Voorhees or the horror shows. It was literally this curio shop that had all these cursed objects in it, and people would
Yes,
people would
I
buy them
remember.
and they would use them and
yeah. And something
Right.
terrible would happen.
And then, of course, there was also the movie. Oh my God, Max von Sydow was in it. Needful Things. It was a Stephen King story, and he had a shop where if he always had a thing for everybody that would help them with whatever they needed, and similar situation.
Yeah.
But I don't think the objects were cursed. He was just the devil. So,
that's like
spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Was it the guy into the booth or something? I forgot what it was. He was like the devil telling them.
Somebody's in the booth right now, so.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask you, how did you start your show? Speaking of shows and being in a booth. And shows. Yeah. What made you start your podcast and everything?
I met somebody at a convention. I mean, a lot of this stuff had to do with my voice acting stuff, and I ran into the folks over at Walt's apartment, and I got to meet the guy who created it. Well, not the original guy who created it, but one of the guys that was running it at the time, and still I think is running it. But
is that Sean?
Yeah, Sean Williams, I think is his last name.
Yeah, I don't know his name, but
I think Sean Williams. Yeah. So anyway, I got to talking to him, and I was able to do an episode on their show, and it kind of inspired me to do my own. And the reason is because there's a lot of Disney shows out there. There's a lot of Disney podcasts that talk about, I hate Disney for this. They suck, and they changed this right, and now I'm never going to go there again. I'm going to boycott it. It's like, well, but why? Why?
Yeah.
I mean,
because that's a better.
It's what people
the algorithm.
Right. I mean, people fall into that kind of category a lot. They get into the naysaying. They get into the doom scrolling, if you will, of just hating on things because it doesn't go the way that they had planned originally. Yeah. So I wanted to do the same because I feel differently about Disney. Now, I have an opinion about prices. I have an opinion about changing rides, and they kind of fall in the same line. But does it mean I'm going to boycott them or never go again? No, because the magic overrides all the negativity. That's
the same as what we wanted to do. Like we will bitch and complain, but we turn it back to positive.
Right.
Yeah. At least we try to.
Yeah, they might do this, and this might be junk, but look at all the good stuff they do.
Yeah. Actually, our friend Jeff kind of steered us to that direction. Like, let's bring it back to a positive thing.
My name is
going to be on our trivia tomorrow. He actually does Goofy's voice as well.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you to do a little Goofy. Just
well, you learn something new every day. That's my Goofy thing. Whenever I do my trivia on my show, I kind of play the little Goofy intro, and because the trivia is not just for fun, but it's also to be like, oh wow, I didn't know that. So kind of educating folks on Disney every time. Yeah, I know.
We don't get to play our trivia.
I don't, because it's in the middle of the night. How rude.
I don't know what happened, but my
no, I flipped it around because
mirrored.
Your phone was backwards.
Oh, it was backwards because that's weird because I thought when it's mirrored, it still shows up the proper way on everybody else's screen. No, it's backwards.
So you can see yourself like you're looking.
Okay, all right. So, because when I look at myself not mirrored, it's weird.
That's why when we just do stuff,
we're trying to point.
I know. Yeah.
With the other way. So if I want to point at Lewis, I have to point the opposite way to where
But I'm pointing at Jason right now.
I'm all right for
us.
Right. But I'm pointing over to my window, which is on the other side of you. So.
Yeah.
It took us a while to get used to it. I mean, we're still not actually used to it.
No, we're still not used to it.
I'm still trying to point to things like where is it? It's
so back to your question. Yeah, I wanted to create something that was Disney positive, that was, it doesn't mean that we're not going to say bad stuff. We just try to steer away from the negative commentary and talk about the things that make us happy. And that's what my intro video says. Like, what is it about Disney that makes us happy? Is it the magical whistle as you enter the main gate? Is it the smell of pirate water or watching your favorite movie for the 100th time? It's things like that just always kind of bring us back and be like, you know what? I haven't seen this movie in a long time, but I love it. I remember how it made me feel. I want to see it again. That's the kind of stuff that I try to bring back.
That's the thing that we're getting. That's the thing we're getting watching all the Disney movies
from
the beginning.
Yep.
And I think the hardest thing for channels like us that we are not in Southern California is to find content without going to the parks all the time.
Yeah, it is difficult. That, which is another reason I think I want to try to pivot to something more than just Disney, because I've mentioned to you guys before, and for those who are listening and have never heard me say this, I am going to be moving from California to Texas probably near the end of the year, and I'm not going to be able to go to Disney as often as I used to, because right now it's only about a 5-hour drive from where I live. It's not too bad.
Exactly. No.
But from Texas, it's going to become more of a flight than
You'll be
just
going to
hopping in
SeaWorld
my
and
car.
Universal.
Yeah, exactly. But it doesn't mean that I won't be.
Over Texas.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that I won't have my same connections or ability
No, of
to go
course
to
not.
certain
Yeah.
conventions
Sure.
and meet new people and just say, hey, you know, I've got this really cool podcast, and I've kind of built up a resume at this point, I think, with the people that I've already had on. So my hook is usually like, hey, you know, just check out my YouTube channel, find all the different, you know, shows that we've had before, all the different guests. And I'd love to have you on as well. And I will drop some names to certain people, because it kind of makes them think like, oh, okay, you know, instead of just like, oh, this is just some random schmuck coming up to me and saying like, can you be on my show?
Yeah, no, we did the same thing. Our thing was finding people, you know, not just like for you, it's voice actors or whatnot. It was finding people who love Disney who are creative. So like we had Tiki Tony on, and you know, some other vloggers or whatnot. So you are obviously a Disney fan, but you're creative with your voice acting, and you're kind of you fit a bill still, you know. So
definitely, yeah. I mean, I've done the same. You know, Terry Harden. You know, she was not necessarily a voice actor. She has done acting stuff before. Through Disney. She was actually the stunt double for Sean Young when Captain EO was filmed.
Nice. Oh, cool.
Oh, wow.
And I think also for Dune as well, when they filmed that original movie. But she's also she's an Imagineer. She's done stuff for Disney. She's done stuff for Jim Henson's Creatures. She did stuff for the Dark Crystal. She's had her hand in, you know, designing certain things for rides at the Disney parks. And you know, because of all that creativeness, I mean, I'm like, gotta have her on the show, and she's an amazing storyteller as well.
Yeah.
I could ask her one question and just sit back here and just be like, okay, that's the show right there.
Yeah.
I mean, you're pretty much doing it right now. Like, we're barely.
Sorry.
This is what we wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not often the spotlight's on me, and I do love to talk.
It's fun. No, so you were talking about bringing magic and all that, right? When you go to the Disney park, what is the magic for you? I mean, what's like your first thing you have to do when you go to the park, or, you know?
Be careful what you answer, because he didn't hear me right. That will never not be funny.
It's a different experience every time, because we never know what we want to do until we actually step foot in the park.
Do you not have a thing like? I'm gonna have to be careful how I say this now. Sam and I, the first thing we ever do when we enter a castle park is we ride Pirates of the Caribbean.
Of the Caribbean,
That's the first thing we do. And if Zach's at the Magic Kingdom, he goes to Tomorrowland and he rides the People.
Oh my God, I miss the People Mover.
So do you not have a tradition that you do when you enter the park?
Pirates
every
has.
day?
Well, not a tradition. I really don't have any traditions when I first get into a park. It's literally whatever kind of comes to our minds. Now, actually, I take that back. Now that you asked that, Lisa and I, my wife Lisa and I, we have a list of all of the different rides that we first went on every time that we go into a Disney park.
That's cool.
So what we try to do the next time we go is go on a ride that we haven't gone on yet for our first ride.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So.
Nice.
Yeah, the list is almost full at this point, so I think we might have to either restart it or just clear the slate and start over again. But I have like a little notepad on my phone that has a list of all the different dates and the first ride that we went on for every day.
That's cool.
And so we will try to do something different. So it could be like, you know, Casey Jr. Circus Train on one day. It could be Peter Pan the next time. It could be the Matterhorn for another one. It really all depends.
I think that's the first time I've heard somebody like, my go-to is to not go to my go-to.
Yeah. I know.
That's kind
of
a
little odd that way, but
So do you ever rope drop or not?
Occasionally. If I do solo trips, I will rope drop. But if it's the both of us, we sleep in. So solo trips are typically like only a day or two when I go. And that I want to get like my full day in, and so I will do a rope drop, and I typically rope drop over at Tomorrowland, and I will try to hit Space Mountain first. So I guess maybe that's my go-to. If I'm doing a solo. And I love the vibe and the energy of everybody when the ropes do drop. I miss the original spiel that they used to do. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Yeah.
I miss that so much, but we live
Welcome, friends.
Yeah.
Like, wait, what?
Yeah, I know. So, but that's fine. I know the times are changing, and this is what I'm talking about. This is the positivity, because it's like, I hate how they took away no. It's just, I get it. I get it. I'm not a big fan, but I get it. So, yeah, Space Mountain will be the ones that I go to, and
I absolutely love it. Because now I throw it right back on them whenever I'm addressing a cast member or management or whatever. Now I'm like,
friend.
Well, hey, friend.
Yeah.
So what's going on? Every time.
I love that. Yeah. Yeah, I've never thought about that before, but why not? I mean,
you got to throw it back on them, JB. You got to throw it back.
Yeah.
They made it. Now they got to sleep in it.
Okay, well, let me ask you guys a question now, because I mean, it's not necessarily talking about the negativity of Disney, but have you experienced any negativity, like from a cast member? Because I feel like everybody's probably had an issue, and if you have, how did you handle it? And then Lou, Disney Lou, is that what should I call you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Call me whatever you want.
The bearded one.
We'll readdress that later.
If you want it.
That you gave a perfect example of how you would handle it. You would say, "Hey, friend," and kind of turn it back on them. But have any of you like Jason, Zach, Shaz, Steve, anybody, have you guys ever had a negative experience, and how did you handle that?
I had. It wasn't so much. It wasn't so much negative. It was more just a little bit inconvenient. It was during when I was at the Halloween party back in August, and it was like. I mean, props to him. He's probably worked a hard day. It was a long night. It was coming close to probably 11:30 midnight, and I was getting a snack to walk back to the bus to get back to my hotel, and I got some beignets from Adventureland, and I was walking there, and there was just no I was like, "Hi, how's your evening going?" It was like, "It's okay." I was like, "Okay, cool. Can I get some beignets, please?" Blah blah blah. Just being positive because that's how I am. And it was just no service with a smile. And it was kind of like, okay, I mean, I'm not going to take it to heart because you probably work a 12-hour shift. You're probably fucking knackered. It's fine. I'm not going to take it to heart, but at least have a little bit of a smile, please. Just you're in the most magical place on earth. How can you not be happy? If I was working a 12-hour shift, I'd be still smiling like a fucking kid on Christmas Day. If I could work at Disney, that is the ultimate goal for me. I would love it. That's my dream.
Oh yeah,
be a cast member.
I've told everybody when I retire, that's where I want to work.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. That's exactly what I want to do.
It's probably not going to happen now because we're going to be living in a different state. But
it's still a job, and you still might have a horrible boss.
Hey, at least you're in the right country.
Yeah, it's true.
Means I've just got to move out and be like, "Hey, I want to work here. Just let me do it, please."
Well, Steve is kind of out of this question because he already said he's never had a bad experience at Disney before.
No, I don't think
I've only ever had one at Disneyland Paris. Never in.
No, you're talking about cast members, only cast members, right?
Yeah, I mean anybody that you would have to deal with that is a cast member at the park. Yeah,
everybody.
Yeah, the ones at DLP aren't the same quality of cast members.
I don't understand though.
Most of them look like they don't want to be there.
I don't understand. I don't understand though.
I don't know.
I
get it.
Yeah, I don't.
There's two types. There's either some that are happy and amazing, and then there's the ones that are like the guy that Zach encountered. They're the ones that really look like they don't want to be there, and it's all or nothing with the French cast members. They're either absolutely brilliant or they have a face like a snack cast.
There is no in between.
No. and they're grumpy. The ones that look like they don't want to be, they're just like they're like typical how you would imagine. I don't know whether it's a French English thing, because some French people hate the English. It's like a almost religious.
Like, we still don't know. We never know
up.
why we hate them. It's just ingrained in us. Like,
it's ingrained in their
Hatfields and the McCoys.
I don't have a problem with anyone.
Yeah.
If I encounter a grumpy French cast member, I just wish them a magical day and carry on. So
I encountered somebody yesterday. I was working at our San Francisco office for my 9 to 5, and there's this place downstairs that makes these amazing breakfast sandwiches, and every time that I go there, I gotta get one. And there was this young woman behind the counter, and I swear, I'm like, I wish I could copy her face and put it on every single cast member at every Disney park, because the moment that you walked up, she already had a smile on her face. And I'm like, oh my God, it puts you in a good mood just by having that smile.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but I've had situations like that before where it's people just seem like they're grumpy and you just don't want to be there.
Yeah.
And I think that I have had other situations where a cast member might actually talk back a little bit. You know, it's kind of borderline, or at least give some attitude about certain things. And my go-to response is typically to try to either diffuse it by killing him with kindness, because it's hard to argue with somebody who's like smiling back at you and really genuinely trying to be happy about something, even though you're trying to correct a situation that you've been wronged with, or at least that you feel you've been wronged with. But either that or just literally just be like, okay, and then just walk away, because you know at that point there's nothing more that's going to be done. And nothing more that's going to be gained from getting angry at them and causing a scene, because I don't know how many times I've ever seen a video on TikTok of somebody losing their temper at the park, and it ends up escalating into something absolutely viral.
I don't want to be that.
The last thing I would want is to be kicked out and not being able to eat.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Be kicked out by somebody else.
Don't be that guy, or don't be that Karen. You know,
unless it's that guy popcorn buckets, then it's cool.
Okay,
Karen with a K.
Popcorn bucket guy. He's going in the rivers of America.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
and using those popcorn buckets as float.
Better do it soon, because we're about to not have it.
Yeah.
Wait,
that's right.
But you're talking about at.
He's not talking
You're
about
talking about in
Rivers
Florida,
of
right?
America.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm talking about my home park.
I know, that's
We're about to
sad.
lose it.
That is sad. I'm disappointed about that. I feel like a parent when I talk about Disney like that, because I start using words like I'm talking to my child. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, so how do you feel about that? About them getting rid of Rivers of America and putting in
Piston Peaks.
Piston Peaks.
He did one this week.
He did one this week. Shoot.
Get him there.
He did what? And did what? Yeah, I mean, I don't visit that park very often, but I do like that it has that similarity to Disneyland, which is my OG stomping grounds. So when I go again, because I know I'm going to go again at some point in my life, if it's gone, it's going to feel weird.
Yeah.
So I can't be mad at it, because I don't go there often enough to actually feel like I have the right to say I'm mad.
Yeah.
But it'll just be awkward, because it'll just be gone.
Yeah.
I mean, I was saying I like the idea. And it looks cool, and what they're thinking of doing and everything. It's just they're putting it in the wrong park. It should go in.
Yeah, I think if they're going to fill it in, they can use it. They should use that space for something else.
It's like you have all that room, so why are you taking something away and replacing it with something else when you have all this room where you can just build brand new?
That's what I'm confused about too. When I heard that and realized they weren't expanding outward but building inward, that didn't make any sense to me.
Well, they are expanding outwards as well, but not
as much as
but there are no cars in Frontierland.
No. I think I can understand them wanting to fill it in, because it's it's costs them a lot to maintain. It's not as popular as it is at Disneyland or at Paris, because our big
it's right on the island.
Is in the middle
of
the rivers of the Wild West. So it makes sense for us to have it, but I can see at Disney World why they'd want to, because it costs them a lot of money and they may not necessarily get it back, but they're putting the wrong thing in place of it. They should replace it with something else that fits.
Yeah. They need to update the railroad is what they need to do.
Oh, there he
There
goes.
it
There he goes with his sign.
No, it's only been an hour and like 15.
He's even sitting in a different position.
Yeah, so you can see it. They should theme it like the Paris Frontierland, like, and completely theme the whole thing. But like Lewis said, put something else Wildy Westy in there. There's nothing that's stopping them. Yes. There's nothing stopping them doing that. But yeah, they won't. They're going to put cars in there. It's going to look weird. It'll be cool, but it'll look weird.
I mean, I think they're.
It best be good. Otherwise,
it's no longer going to be just Frontierland when they do that.
No, it's not.
No,
it won't be.
It's just awkward. I think it's just awkward because putting a Pixar ride in the middle of all that stuff just seems odd.
Yeah.
It doesn't
It's
make
a
any
Disneyland
IP thing again.
Yeah, and at Disneyland and California Adventure, I can kind of understand it a little bit because there's not a lot of room to expand outwards, and they have to find the space available within the area that they already have, because everything else. Yeah, everything else outside of that is like you're going to start basically having to buy houses and hotels to level and make room for more. But that's probably not going to happen ever.
No.
At least not in my lifetime. But so that in that sense I can understand it, and in that sense I'm also glad to see that they're finally doing something to expand the Avengers campus by adding more attractions.
Exactly.
Might actually make it more worth visiting.
Yeah.
But I also am sad to see that Monsters Inc. is going bye-bye.
Yeah.
I'm kind of hoping that they'll give it to Paris,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lately, they're montages
Recycling
destroy
stuff.
everything.
So.
We always get half-offs from other people, so it's fine.
Another great reason to come to the Magic Kingdom, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
Now, the
have
Magic
it. We'll have
Kingdom.
Monsters, Inc.
The Magic Kingdom definitely has its perks. I mean, the only park that I haven't been out to visit out there is the studios. I haven't been to the studios yet.
That's my favorite.
I know, and I hear a lot of people say that, but a lot of the reasons it's hard to choose because when you're on a budget and you're going out there and you have to choose which parks you want to go to. The ones that I chose initially were the ones that had attractions that I know I have never been on before. And the Magic Kingdom and then Epcot and, of course, Animal Kingdom were all in those categories. The studios had certain attractions that I had already been to, like Galaxy's Edge, done, right? And there was a few others that what else did they have?
Star Tours is in
Star Tours, yeah. So,
Toy Story.
Midway Mania, right.
Yeah.
But I know that they have definitely a lot of stuff that that we don't have out here on the West Coast.
Yeah, like a Slinky Coaster and that's a lot of fun.
But that's the reason why we made the decision we did. But for the next visit, I definitely want to go to the studios because it's the only one that I haven't done yet. And the ones that I have actually super enjoyed since I've been out there is Tron was brilliant.
Oh yeah,
loved that ride.
That's my favorite ride.
Yeah. I mean, the way that they actually digitized, I didn't know what to expect. I had not seen any videos except for just the coaster on the outside. I didn't watch any videos of the inside, and I was like, "Oh, this is going to be a completely brand new experience for me."
As
and
a
I am
Tron
so
fan,
glad
were
I
you
did
blown
that.
away?
Me? Oh yeah, absolutely. The light cycles were so cool. I mean, when I watched the original movie, and I was probably a teenager at the time. I pretended that my bike was a light cycle.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
I love the video game too.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
That was the best. All
I
the
rode
spiders
Tron for the
and
first time with Sam. Sam has never seen Tron. Sam
no.
had no idea.
There
where I
you go,
was
Jay.
using
Yes.
my ship.
Yeah.
She was like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "But this is so cool. It's just like being in the film." And she's like, "What?"
Yeah. That's like me and Harry Potter. What?
Yeah.
And then when we got it, she went, "Oh, it was all right. It's a one and done for me." And I was like, "What's wrong with you?" I wanna ride it again. It was so cool. I love it.
That and the new Guardians ride at Epcot was fantastic. I did not expect it to be
That's
nearly as
mind-blowing as
thrilling
well.
as it was.
Did you
and
feel like you were flying through space in that little car?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. And I mean, except
You're
for all
gonna
the
love it,
G's
Jason.
that you feel, obviously. They
But
do kind
I
of mess
think-
with you on that a little bit
Yeah.
because of how the cars rotate. And I was worried about that because, like I said, like on Expedition
You don't like,
Everest,
to spin
if you
things.
go backwards even a little bit, I'm like, oh. And there was a
Yeah,
couple of
but-
moments where you do go backwards on that, but it's not
Yeah, but you
too
don't.
bad.
It doesn't fit because you feel like you're flying and you can't see the track, and it
Yeah.
does look like you're flying through space. I think it's way better. Sorry, I said better.
It's
Jason.
okay. We got it.
Than if you can see the track and you're on a coaster like Everest, for instance. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just the way that my stupid vertigo brain works.
I mean,
But
it's true
I
because
could ride Guardians over and over and over, and Kenny says it's a one and done, and it makes him want to vom.
nah, I don't agree. I could go on that a few times and I'd still be okay.
Yeah.
And the experience is great too. I mean, I even got to the
What
I
song
did the
did you
full
get?
queue. I don't remember.
What?
It's like asking what song I got when I went on Guardians of the Galaxy at California Adventure. I mean, it changes so often. I never can recall like what I went on from one moment to the next. And plus, my memory is garbage, so that too.
Mine is, but I
Jason loves
Cool.
the Main Street Electrical Parade music.
Oh yeah.
I love that music.
I
I can't
don't
wait to
mind the
see
parade,
Jason's
the
face
music.
when we do Guardians. It's going to be
I
awesome.
feel like there's a story there.
Yeah.
He just doesn't like
Look
it.
at his face. He's like,
He just hates it.
Okay, so
You know,
something
when we
I've
do a
been
trivia,
watching
we're going to have to
and I
slip
did-
that sound in at some point. I'm gonna tell him.
It's going in.
Yeah, and watch your face. You'll be like, what?
Yeah. What float is this? And
What is Jason's favorite parade?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it just the music?
It's the music and it's
And the
that
worm.
Worm.
The
float.
caterpillar. Is
I
that
love the
caterpillar?
worm, the caterpillar from the Alice in Wonderland bit.
But it breaks apart into multiple little
Yeah, but
pieces.
it's the noise it makes. It's like wow, wow, wow.
Really?
It's really annoying. I just never like it. So
See, now when I watched the Disneyland Paris one, when they did the drone show that kind of tributed that was my favorite. That and Pete's Dragon was my favorite bit because it reminded me so much of watching the parade in the Magic Kingdom, and we had it in Paris for a while. And it just brought so many memories back. I was like, oh my god, this is so
absolutely.
epic. And then when Steve told me Jason didn't like it, that was it. I was like, ooh.
I definitely preferred Pin Tonight over that. So.
Well, Paint Tonight's really good. So
yeah.
I don't even like watching parades anymore. I mean, if I happen to catch it as I'm walking by, it's fine.
Yeah,
but
I don't
sit
I'm
and
not gonna
wait.
stop and wait
No.
for it. And,
No,
That's what I was
I'd
saying
rather go on rides.
about Paint
You
the
don't
Night
like
was
Festival of Fantasy? Oh my gosh!
I didn't say I
That's
didn't
so
like
messed
it.
up.
yeah.
I just said I don't go to parades.
I watched them once.
I
love a
would-
nighttime parade because I like
Yeah.
flashing lights.
Yeah, but
I will watch
I'd like
Paint the
rather
Night
go on
whilst I'm there,
rides.
but regular ones
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm
Yeah,
all
I have
right
to
with.
watch them once, and then once I've seen them once, it's like it's time for
Yeah,
rides.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not
the one,
like-
parades for me are a one and done. Like
Yeah.
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 I go back to the Halloween party next time I go to Disney World because I'm like my mum wants to come with me next time. We're like, well, she wants to do the Halloween party as well. So I'm like, well, if you really want, like, we can watch the parade. But I've seen it already. Like, I'll go do something else. Like it's a one and
Yeah.
done for me. Like it's fine. Like I've got that core memory now. Like I don't need to.
That's
And
what Sam and I did
unless
at
something
Christmas.
changes drastically with it that I have to see. But like,
Yeah. Well, like so when the electrical
Electrical
parade came back. Yeah. When it came back.
The beat.
Yeah, exactly. It's like whoa. Chris told me, he goes, "Hey, you want to, go to the opening of the electrical parade? They're bringing it back." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I'll meet you there." So, or I picked them up or whatever. So anyway, we got to the park, and it was like all this media stuff going on. It was the first day or first night back. And so, we sat we stood behind the trash cans because that was like a really good spot you can rest your camera on the trash can and record.
Sam and I always do.
Yeah. So we did that and watched, and there was like a bunch of new like floats. I'm like, what happened to that float? And, because when I was a kid, you remember certain floats.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden they're gone. I'm like, what? And then the ending float is totally different now. And so, but it's still good. But it's like that's it. Now I don't need to see it again. So
Yeah, that's it exactly.
Don't you remember when they were handing out the little lights?
I actually have one of those. Yeah,
well, that's what happened to the floats.
Yeah.
Some of those went away.
Yeah, when they were actually supposedly getting rid of the entire parade, they gave out, or they didn't give out. You had to buy like a memorabilia. It's like a certificate thing with like a bulb and some other stuff from the electrical parade, from the original, from the 70s or whatever.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I still have that somewhere.
Nice.
But, yeah, but like you guys said, it's like like Paint the Night. I love Paint the Night, but once I see it, I don't really need to sit down and watch it. It's a fun,
and then the next night it's on, we'll go and
I mean,
run
it's a
stuff.
fun parade.
Yeah.
But it's like JB. I'd rather just go on the rides because that's when all the lines are short or shorter, and so.
It makes for great footage for social media and stuff like that because there's a lot of great interaction with the crowds. The characters get really close and they wave, and sometimes you'll see something special happen with one particular guest that might be dressed the same way as another, as one of the characters or something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, other than that, it's like you said, one and done. If I've seen it once, I'm okay after that.
Yeah, that's why we always record it for our channel, because that way if I fancy watching it again, I'll watch ours and then I'll go and watch one of Chris's to see if he's done it any different.
Yeah.
And then if Zach's been, I can go and watch Zach's to see if he's done it any differently. I don't need to watch it multiple times. I can just watch what
Zach's will be filmed in 1990s mode. So.
Yeah.
No, it won't, because Zach's been told he mustn't do that again.
Yeah, not this time around. Nothing. It's not going to be 1990s theme this time.
It's going to be 1955, right? It's black and white.
Black and white.
Yeah.
That's why I like doing the ride-throughs. The same thing as the movie reviews.
Yeah.
It lets us, because we don't get to the parks as
stuff.
much to re-enjoy things that we'll ever do,
I know JB has to be on one. You haven't been on one of those yet.
Not yet. You guys do those on Fridays, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's always tough because Friday nights are kind of sacred. So I might have to squeeze
bring
in
Lisa.
one.
Lisa can come on with you.
Yeah, Lisa
I
can
would
come on
love
if you
to
want.
do that. I would love to get her back on my show. To be
I
honest
know.
with you, but she's still a little reluctant. But I mean, she said that she might eventually at some point. And
She
I
can
of course
pick the
love to
ride,
have her.
and then you two can talk about it.
Oh, now that might.
Yeah.
That
And
might
none
be a
of us
good
will
thing.
be on, just you two.
I need
We'll
more girl
all
power.
be playing cards, and you can. Do that.
We need more girl power because there's me, and occasionally Sam will tip up.
Yeah.
If we're really lucky.
I'm hoping that will change soon, though, because her last day at her job is on Monday. She's officially retiring. So,
congratulations.
No way.
Yeah.
I'll
So she
send
will
her a
be
message and beg her to come on
very
a ride.
Yes, please do. I mean, I could use the help because apparently I've had no influence whatsoever.
You're the husband. You shouldn't need to listen to you anymore.
Yeah.
You should know, Rennie. You've been married more than once. You should know by now. Other half.
Yeah.
No attention.
The better half. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jace, is there any other? No, the other one. Is there?
Sorry.
JB.
Sorry, I'm so comfortable.
I know.
I just feel
This
like
is
a
when we
Jace.
start saying Steve and I are the same person, because
Yes.
I was just about to say we've been doing this for an hour and a half, and we don't want to keep you all day. So,
I'm
is
good
there
right
any
now.
final thoughts from anybody, or JB? Do you have anything else you want to?
I just want to say how well you fitted into our motley crew.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right?
For sure.
Well,
Yeah.
And me
I
and
agree.
JB get a day at the park together. That's gonna be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
You guys got to go
Yeah.
live, and we can bring it on.
Yeah.
That'd be so
Yeah.
cool.
He's a lot of fun to hang out with in the
He
park.
Oh
is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
told
what
him he
it's-
could have one day with us, because
Yeah.
Lisa will be there too. And we value our together time. You know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You don't want a lanky, baldy kid,
Yeah.
in the third wheel.
Oh, kid.
There's this guy creeping behind us. Like, why is he following us?
Wait,
everywhere?
that was you last
Why is
time.
he in a stitch one?
Gross.
Yeah, he's in a Stitch onesie. It's soaking
And why does he have poo all over his shirt?
Wait a minute, that's not a suntan.
Oh God!
I just think it's really
What the
not
fuck is
spooky.
the-
That's the wrong word. It's just like how you just kind of slotted in like another piece of the jigsaw
Well, it's
puzzle.
like I was saying when I first saw JB on, he somehow showed up on my Facebook feed.
I'm
And I
glad
was
to hear
You're
that.
lucky because he's rubbish at social media.
Yeah, it's like, I hate it. But so I was on Facebook and you came up, and it was you're talking about a podcast that I'm like, who the heck is this guy? Main Gate Magic, and hey, he does Disney stuff too. So I watched it and I'm like, hey, I like this guy. He's cool, and he's got this really cool guest on. And
That's not what
so
he said. I'll tell you the real thing.
And see, I was about ready to go into my buzzard mode, like no.
Okay, Vicky, I'm the best. No. And so I sent it to Jace. I said, hey, have you heard of this guy? And it's like, no, this guy's weird.
Like I've never.
No, it was great, and now we became friends. And then I remember Jason and I we were at Disneyland. We were busy doing our trucks, exchanging stuff in our trucks, and all of a sudden my phone goes off. I'm like, who the heck's this guy from like the Bay Area? I get a phone call. I'm like, I don't know this person. And then Jason gets a phone call too, and it's like, hey, JB wants to meet us over at. Oh, is that who called?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of happened a little accidentally. I mean, we just kind of connected on one of my shows, and then I met up with you guys at the park, and then now we're playing COD games, and I'm being on your show and all that stuff. So
I kind of related to how you during one of your events go up to talk to other people. Like Steve didn't want to, for whatever reason, he's still in his little shy mode.
Steve's really shy.
Even though he won't shut up tonight. But he didn't want to start.
You've created a monster.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I just I'll do this. But I used to be the same way, and but I go up to people now, and
because when you had your show on with I always forget.
C.
his
Andrew
name.
Nelson.
Yeah, C. Andrew. So C. Andrew Nelson. I think that was the first one where I said, "Hey, Jace, JB's on." Well, I called you Jason back then. Jason's on Main Gate Magic. He's talking to the voice of Darth Vader from the cartoons, and he's like, "Oh, okay." So then he came on, and that's when he started chatting.
Which is wrong. He's not the voice of Darth Vader.
Oh, I thought he was, wasn't he?
No.
What is he the voice of then?
He's not. He didn't do the voice of Darth Vader. He did the body of Darth Vader.
Oh, the body. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was like when they did the special edition of episodes 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
When Lucas did all those extra scenes and stuff.
Right. Oh, that was him. Okay.
He's the guy that was inserted as Darth Vader. So he calls himself Vader 2.0. So
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. He's the other.
I knew it was something
Vader.
with Vader. So.
Yeah.
When you next see Sam JB, ask her about her Darth Vader story and let her tell you.
That's really funny.
All right, I'll try to remember that.
David Prowse, the David Prowse story.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
That was really funny.
So anyway, you were saying.
Yeah. So then I told Jace, hey, check him out. So and that's when he actually said something to you in the chat, and because I'm really
shy.
Yeah.
Then
when Jason did it, I went ahead and chatted too, and yeah.
I'm really shy. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm still the same way with Larry, with Goofy Guy Adventures when he's on, and that's why I always tell him I'm like his number one ninja watcher because I'm never really in chat. But if I see people there I know that has come on on our channel with our trivia, like Heather or
CMC.
Yeah, CMC or so then I'll just say hi. And
y'all are my folks now. You're the kind of folks that I love to hang around with. I mean, just easygoing, no hang-ups, at least none that I've seen so far, except for Steve doesn't like Jar Jar, and now I know that Jason doesn't like the Main Street Electrical Parade. So
Steve loves Jar Jar. What are you talking about?
No. Wait.
Misa gonna be on the show.
I have the power.
Look at Misa back.
Change your position.
Yeah.
Wait. Is that the one where the arms go up and the tongue?
Yeah. the
La,
tongue
la, la,
goes
la, la,
out.
la, la, la. Yeah.
I had it the whole time. I didn't even know that. I just
He
like, why
ended,
is his
he
anger
should
so up?
do Jason. Jason brought it with him to Disneyland, and now he's ended up with me. And at some point, he's going to end up with Zach.
Yeah.
So he's going to do the rounds.
He's going to do the rounds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then
Yeah, so-
he might end up back with you at Christmas, Steve.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'd be like Secret Santa. Oh, what's this? Oh, it's Jar Jar.
He's gonna be put in the trash.
The feelings are real, Steve. I get you. I get you.
Yeah. I mean, okay, I like his idea of using CGI completely for a character, but why a Jamaican dude that looked like him and speaks like him?
It's not just him. It's the whole.
The whole thing
species.
is
Yeah.
dumb.
The whole race.
And
I
then
wonder whether I can adapt him and put some Crocs on his feet.
Give him some
Have you seen
dreads.
his feet? I don't think that's gonna work.
And then the leader of that Jungans or whatever.
Yeah, Boss Nass.
Dumb.
Boss ass.
Boss Nass.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, but he's
stupid.
brown blessed. That's how cool is that?
Yeah.
I mean, we
And
could do a
it's-
whole discussion about episodes 1, 2, and 3. And
It's horrible.
I could bag on it all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just.
Hey,
I
what's
was not a
up,
fan
man?
of
What's
those.
that?
There he is. Where's your water?
Hey, Annie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's going in the
Little
trash
Annie.
too.
No,
Yeah.
I bought that
I-
for Jason for Christmas
like-
specifically because I know it winds you up.
I like the remake of that when they did a spoof of when Anakin comes back as, you know, and he comes back to Watto and says, "Hey, you sold my mom." And then it was really funny. He said, "That's what
That
you
would
should
probably
have
be
done."
more realistic. Yeah,
Exactly.
especially at that
Yeah.
time.
Mhm.
But
'Cause
yeah,
he was talking to Watto, and Watto's like, "Annie, hey, Annie,
Little Annie.
yeah." Exactly. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. It was great.
All right.
Well, then, there you have it.
There you have it. Now what?
Thanks.
And them's the breaks, kids.
I
Yeah.
feel like it's the end of Finding Nemo, and they get out
Yeah.
of they get in the bags, and they're out in the ocean, and they're floating, and we're like,
Okay.
Now what?
Yeah, now what? now we turn on the Xbox and play Call of Duty.
oh, I like the sound of that. I like the sound of that.
So now I'll do my thank you for watching our show.
Oh my god.
So okay, so I have actually my brother's friend, but back in the day he used to do this stand-up little bit with Watkins' voice. You're wearing my shoes. You take them off.
Take them off.
So I always wanted to do it, and just the word shoes, it sets up the whole thing. Shoes, like
Shoes.
It's the whole voice.
Isn't it funny though?
wearing
Like
Maybe I need to turn him off.
Hey,
one
I'm
word,
can hear you.
Yeah, seriously.
one word can just like be like, oh, that's it. That's
Yeah.
it. That's how it
Yeah.
sounds. And then it's funny. Funny.
That's how I do my how I do my Scooby Doo impression.
Hey, yeah.
Oh no! Ruby dooby doo.
Gotta do it a
He's
little
quite
further
good at
from the
Scooby.
mic though. Yeah,
Ruby dooby doo.
that's better. That's better. You gotta get rid of those peaks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's still getting used to his real mic now. He ditched
am,
his
yeah.
garbage one.
He's still used to getting his voice. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
He's not that young.
We're gonna have to define what a real mic is. That's good for podcasting, but for voice acting, not so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can only tell because it's got lights glowing on the outside of it.
Oh,
so
Yeah, exactly.
It's
All of
really
them.
for show. It's
It's a show
Yeah.
mic.
Everybody
show
wants a
mic.
flashy.
Well, it's a lot better than the mic I had. That every time I spoke, the ring, there's a washer ring, a metal washer ring on there. That when I spoke, it vibrated and it
Oh,
Jesus.
rang in the mic.
Yeah, I was like, we gotta get you a new mic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have other ones for
Music.
recording, but this is actually the Rode, so this one's pretty good too.
Oh, nice. Rode's a good brand. I like that.
This one's
I've
good
still
enough for
got-
me to do voiceovers for my videos I have to make for work and stuff. So does the
Yeah,
job.
yeah.
And I've still got my my blue.
That's
my
what I
Yeti,
had.
My blue
Yep.
Yeti. Yeah.
That's the one I
Yeah.
had. And my USB.
It's not
connection-
blue. So confusing.
I know. Yeah.
You know that's just Logitech, right?
No.
Yeah.
Do they make Blue Yeti?
They own, yeah.
I mean,
the only reason
I'm just saying it is made by Logitech.
Yeah, it's a higher end Logitech.
Well, and it's got fancy little, gizmos to change the directional inputs and the gain, and then of course there's the mute button and the volume on the front and everything. And I do all my stuff on Smule for this too. Like when I go and do the karaoke and the Disney scenes on Smule Sing, I use that one because it can connect to it really easily. So
yeah, nice.
Yeah, because that's your co-host, right? That's how you met your co-host.
Leia, yeah. Leia and even back in the day, Mimi, who was one of my other co-hosts, she used to be a cast member as well. And but yeah, she hasn't been on in a while. I'm not sure if she's coming back at this point. She's busy being a full-time mom, which is obviously way more important,
of course,
than any of that. So
talking on a microphone.
Yeah, exactly. But she as well. She's a voice actor, and
cool.
she's writing her own book.
Oh, cool.
Wow. And she loves doing cosplay and stuff like that, and it doesn't live too far from here.
How many podcasts do you have? I mean, on YouTube and on audio, you have a lot. I mean,
no, really. Yeah. I mean, all I've got is technically 2. One is owned by me. That's Main Gate Magic. That's my own. Mm-hmm. And then I actually have another one that is really at this point only on YouTube. It's for adventurous ideas. It's called The Lowdown at the Down Low. And if you remember me telling the story earlier about Heroes of Extinction, the bar is called The Down Low, right? So Andrew came up with a great idea of doing a podcast for me interviewing a bunch of the different people that are going to be on that particular story. So for Heroes of Extinction, I interviewed him and Jerry as the producer and director and narrator. And I also interviewed the writer and many of the different actors that were in that particular story. And that's already available on YouTube for under the Adventurous Ideas channel to listen to for free. And then my show, Main Gate Magic, I of course have it on Facebook. I also have it on I also have it on YouTube, although the videos on Facebook, they disappear after 30 days now. It's a new policy that they have. I think they're putting all their energy into AI now. Yeah. But the YouTube ones are always going to be there. And of course, if you want to listen to just the audio, I have it on all the audio channels like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Podcast Network, and even those branch out into other podcast stuff that I know I don't even know about. Yeah. I just know that they also put them out there. Yeah. So, I mean, Buzzsprout kind of takes care of all that for me. I just sign up for my monthly subscription, and then I load the audio, and they just blast it out everywhere.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Nice. It's just the 2, but and I actually get more downloads from the audio on Main Gate Magic than I get views on YouTube. But I also watched a video from somebody recently that said to change certain settings on your YouTube videos so that you get more people to view them, and I just did that, so I'm going to see if the algorithms make sense. Yeah.
If you record stuff and put it out, it says that to leave it unlisted for 24 hours before you list it, because then the algorithm's got time to search through everything.
Yeah, that's one of the things that he actually mentioned.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
But the thing is, because I do mine live, it's automatically on there. Once the broadcast is finished, the video stays on there. So it's a little different.
See, I schedule everything of mine. Like I put it out and then schedule it ready for to go. But I might have to try the unlisted thing.
Yeah, unlisting.
Yeah,
you unlist it, right.
Well, and that's why even if you list it or not, but you have people that watching it from not the channel.
Yeah.
Right away.
The algorithm.
Video.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and that's the reason why I do it live, is because I love the audience interaction. I love
that's what we love.
That's why.
I love that people can chime in and say hello to their favorite guests, or ask a question, say hi.
I hate Jar Jar.
Yeah, exactly. It makes the show a lot more interesting when you got audience members engaging. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
When it's unscripted,
it kind of reminds me of being at a park, because I mean, I don't know. I don't think a lot of people do this, but when I'm in a park, whether I'm solo or not, I'll talk to people in line.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm not shy. You guys are there to have the same kind of fun that I am, and if I hear something, I'll be like, oh, and you know what? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I mean, I heard about this as well, and I'm sure half of them are probably like, Who the hell
Who is this guy?
Right?
He's all by himself. What a loser.
We have some great conversations. Usually, when I'm with Sam, it'll be people that they go, "Oh, are you English?" Like,
yeah.
No,
I was.
Yeah.
Sorry,
That starts the conversation.
Okay,
I was in
you wanker.
So I was in line for the Barnstorm, and I met this amazing couple from I think Massachusetts, and they were fantastic. We were talking the whole time, and we met.
You kept running into them too, right?
Kept running into them, and they did Tron before me. And it was like, "Oh, Tron is amazing. You're gonna love it." I was like, "I've secured a virtual queue for it, so I'm gonna, I'm looking forward to it." And we saw each other again, like a couple of
we did that too. We kept running into somebody.
Because we were only there for like 2 days, but then. There was another family as well that I kept bumping into from Nashville. They were like 3 or 4 doors down, like hotel wise.
Oh, from your hotel. Oh, wow.
And we were staying at the same hotel, and we kept bumping into each other, met each other at like the Halloween party and during breakfast and stuff. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. They were so cool. It was like, "Oh, what party are you going to today?" And blah blah blah. And
you still keep in touch with them or no?
No, I think that I told them that I had a channel and everything. It was like, I'm doing vlogs and everything, and so I shared my channel with them. It was like, "Oh, we'll keep an eye out," but. Yeah, so I think for the most part, I think they subscribe and everything. But
that's cool.
Yeah, good few
we
people.
We met a couple on the plane that, strangely enough, were going to the same Star Wars night as us, and we saw him at Star Wars.
Nice. Oh, cool.
Yeah. But he commented on my Star Wars tattoos on my legs while I was waiting in the bathroom on the plane.
Star Wars tattoos.
What?
Yeah, tattoos.
My Star Wars tattoos.
I'm from Tatooine.
Yeah, Tatooine.
It's surprising how the tattoos. See, I'm saying it properly. Tattoos.
We're gonna make you English.
Yeah.
We're gonna Americanize you.
I mean, even when
Leo.
Hey, Leo.
Cool.
He's been listening while driving. Cool. Even when I go to work conferences and we're talking about stuff, whenever my boss says, like he's talking to someone, come by our stand, and they said, "How are you going to find them?" And he just points at me and he goes, "Look for her arm."
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I'm all
Exactly.
up, so
exactly.
Yeah. So even at work, my Disney stuff attracts attention.
One of the last solo trips that I went on, I met a couple in line while waiting for getting in line for Rise of the Resistance. Best animatronic Disney ride, like at Disneyland, I should say.
Except
so
for the
far.
last Kylo Ren.
Except for the last Kylo Ren. I know we were talking about this thing, like in the forest with like
just ignore the last Kylo
Yeah.
Ren. The rest of it's amazing.
Like, oh,
yeah.
But anyway, I digress. I met this couple in line. Just started chatting with them, and I talked about my podcast and everything, which at the time was still pretty young. It was in its infancy, and we were just sharing stories and everything like that. And we ended up getting in the same car together. And then at the end, we were just kind of saying goodbye. But I think the thing that I took away from it the most was that I didn't get their names until like literally the end. And I said, "What were your guys' names? I don't think we actually shared our names." And she's like, "Oh, my name is Barbara, and this is Ken." And she's like, but she says, "I go by Barbie." I said, "Wait a second. You've been holding that back from me in line the entire time that your name is Barbie and Ken." And you never shared that once.
Oh, that's funny.
That's awesome.
So, and actually, I take that back. I think Barbara was the one that was in the line with one of her friends, and then she introduced me to her husband later on that said his name was Ken, and I was just like, that was like one of the most magical moments of the day, and it had nothing to do with Disney themed stuff at all. It was just meeting some people that happened to have some really cool names. So it was
I met my neighbors in line that I didn't even know they were there.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
We had fast passes, so we went ahead, and right when they were coming, they didn't have fast pass. They were in the regular line, and we just met up and happened to be right behind them. And I'm like, "Wait, what? Hey, I know you guys."
Wow.
I had a guy just come up to me and start talking to me. I guess I have like an average face or whatever, and he's just like, "Oh, hey," blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? He thought I was his friend. Like he came to the bar. I guess I like there was a twin there, and I was like, I have no idea.
I don't know who you are.
So
Jason friend.
Yeah. I get kids that want to hang out.
They want to give you high fives.
No.
Yeah.
Attract all sorts of freaking.
That's
women.
the other.
Let's not talk about that. Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right. I think that about does it.
Yeah, we were saying goodbye 20 minutes ago.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
Thank you.
I mean,
Jason.
honestly, I could go for like another 2 hours.
Forever.
And
No, I know.
It would go by like that. So
Yeah.
Always
for
have fun
sure.
talking. So
definitely. I know it kind of changed from an interview to more of like, okay, let's just chat about random
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
pretty much. Yeah.
Here's how it is.
And I'm totally fine with that. You guys know that. You guys
We
know
had
that.
so much
That's
fun
what we
hanging
say.
out. So.
Let's see where the conversation goes. So.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
So it's just fun.
But yeah,
Yeah.
this has been fun. We thank you for joining us and
Anytime,
sharing
guys.
your background and stories and all that.
Yeah. And get
And,
Lisa on.
What's
Yeah.
that?
Someday.
I'll work.
Oh,
Yeah.
Someday. We're gonna try.
all right. Cool.
All right.
Join in. You can hear Jeff do his goofy voice.
Yeah.
Oh, tomorrow. Yeah.
Like you
Tomorrow.
literally mean goofy, not a
Yes.
goofy voice. Oh
No.
my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Well, he might do that.
That's how he talks normal.
Yeah. So anyway, again, thank you for joining us. Thank everybody for joining in. Please like and subscribe to, I'll put it up there again.
Jason at Main Gate Magic.
Hey, there it is.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And
Don't forget tomorrow.
Yeah, we're just saying that. Tomorrow.
What's tomorrow?
Our trivia.
Woo! What time?
At
12 noon.
12
Disneyland
noon, yeah.
time. So,
12 noon Disney. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Can I use that, or do you guys use that?
No, you
No,
can use
it's
that.
not copyrighted.
Trademark.
12
Nice.
noon Disneyland.
Trademark.
Yeah. It has my name on it, so you can. $10.
Is there a topic for tomorrow's trivia?
There is
Yeah.
three topics.
We have 3 games. So the first game is going to be just Disney Parks knowledge.
Which
Second
there's
game
cool
is
Disney
all
Park trivia thing.
Yeah.
That prize.
And the prizes are cool.
The prizes are really cool.
Game 2 is all Marvel questions with Marvel prizes.
Yeah. Oh, and the prizes are awesome.
You got to play.
I want
And the
them,
third
but I can't.
one is the Goofy movie for the 30th anniversary.
Oh,
of the
yeah.
Goofy movie. So
That reminds me, I got to get
And
Jim
then
back
Goofy
on. Yeah, I got to get Jim back on. He should be one of my next guests. So.
Oh yeah, trivia tomorrow, Leo.
Yep. Thank you,
Yeah,
Leo.
yep.
Have a good rest of your Saturday.
Yeah.
See you tomorrow. So, yeah.
And
be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and as I say, comment below. Let Jason know what you think about him. No, but you can leave him a comment or two.
I always ask for any feedback, positive or negative, guys. I mean, I'm always looking to improve, looking to change things, and I mean, as long as you keep it
Well,
respectful.
you already changed one thing.
What's that?
You changed your background. You took off your.
I did. Wait, sorry, I'm pointing to his crotch there. Yeah, I had to move this from the bedroom into the booth because this wasn't there before. But I'm like, oh yeah, he hangs. I can put him up there. Perfect.
Yeah, you had a hat and a scarf or something up there, right?
Yeah, it's outside the booth now. That was my Percy. My Percy.
Now you
Here.
know what to hang. That picture of you crying.
Right. That's it. That's the
Get
one.
your dad. I want your dad to make like a big,
blow up,
blown up
wall
version.
fire. Yeah.
I'm sure he's the photographer in the family. He's probably the one that actually took it. So
on your next live stream, I'm gonna be combat. Hey, Mr.
Hey, Odie.
Braden.
Yeah. Just say, hey, Odie. Remember this?
Odie,
picture
that's
you
it.
took?
Yeah. I need a large.
Day 15 of seeing the JB kid crying photo.
Yeah. I got a few pictures like that when I was a kid that I'm just embarrassed to have been in, but That is
crying? You're always
definitely one of them.
crying?
No, my parents took me to Carson City once, and there's a picture of
Oh,
me
no.
dressed up as a little preacher boy putting a peace symbol up like this. And I do not look. So you know how the old Western photos where nobody's smiling, you know? It's
Yep.
like, that's how I
Yeah.
looked. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it wasn't because of
perfect
that.
town
It
to
was
do it
because
in.
I was just not happy being there.
Yeah.
Was
Just
not
a
happy
perfect
in
town
that
to be
outfit.
in. Carson
Yeah,
City.
definitely. I haven't been there since, but you know.
Yeah. I almost moved over there. Well, the Dayton was outside of Carson City. But yeah,
I love Dayton. What a nice town.
No.
Yes.
There's nothing there.
No.
No.
Don't ever work for the tourist board of attractions or anything like that. No, don't go here.
Yeah.
It
Don't
sucks.
ever ask him for his honest
the
opinion on
best-
anything because he's going to give it to you.
The best place about Dayton is it's close to Virginia City, and that's a cool town.
Oh, there you
That's
go.
the best place. Yeah, that's the best thing about that place. But yeah,
Wasn't Carson City where Mark Twain worked for a newspaper or something?
no, it was in what did I just say?
Virginia City.
Virginia City is where.
I love this place. It's beautiful, but fuck knows
Come in,
what
Steve.
it is.
Come in, Steve. Steve, do you read me? Hello?
What?
McFly.
McFly.
Yeah. Hey, McFly, your shoes untied.
Oh,
All right, bye.
All right, yeah.
Again.
For the
goodbye.
fifth time.
Yes, I know. No, you hang up first.
Yeah.
No, you hang up.
Thanks everybody for joining in,
Yeah,
and listening
well,
to our wacky stories and stuff.
Thanks for having me on again, guys. I appreciate it. in all
Yeah, no,
sincerity.
anytime. Hey,
Yeah.
if you're bored, want to have fun, just come on board.
So you'll be on here
All
so
right.
much soon, you'll end up with a co-host picture on the end of our.
Yeah, I know, right? I know.
This could be your third podcast here. There you go.
Oh, Lord.
You know, you end up being a guest for a little while, and then you don't go away, and they're stuck
Yeah,
with you
that's
forever.
it. Yeah.
Don't threaten me, Shaz. Don't threaten me, okay?
Hey, I'm the reason we're all together. So.
Yep.
Yeah, Zach's fault we're all together.
Yeah, we're gonna have a Call of Duty live stream now. So.
Yeah.
That should be amusing. Watch old people play COD, everybody. See how much we suck. Actually, we hold our own. We actually hold
We
our
do.
own.
It's pretty good to be fair.
You're all right.
It's fun.
I can't play COD just yet. I need to do some editing. Blech.
Oh, Zach.
I know.
Oh, Zach.
I gotta make dinner.
Okay, after you've made dinner.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Like what?
It's 1 in the afternoon.
Have you eaten though today?
Yes, I have.
Just checking.
Thank you.
Well, we know Zach has already eaten.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Should we say goodbye again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Now it's
Bye,
time
again.
to say goodbye to all our company.
MIC.
There we go.
See you real soon.
That's right. Why? Because we
love
you.
you.
Is it like or love?
Like.
We like you.
It's
Or is
like,
it
yeah.
like? I thought it was love.
And then everybody at the end.
M-O-U-S-E.
Later.
See you real soon.
Say it, Zach.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.